But to break it down, what he said a year ago, he said it's going to be war. When the economy implodes, when Europe starts going down, and he listed the countries in the order. We all thought it would be Portugal next, but now it's Italy imploding, but that was after Portugal. The point is, it's on. The Chinese are accelerating their dumping of T-bills. FT headline, Financial Times, trades reveal China shifts from dollar. Joining us via video Skype is Gerald Celente. Always great to have him. You should subscribe to his great journal. Invaluable info at trendsresearch.com. That's trendsresearch.com. Gerald, thanks for coming on short notice.
Oh, always my pleasure. You know that, Alex.
It was great having dinner with you in New York.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Unfortunately, I'd been up for 2 days covering Bilderberg because my guys were up, at 3 o'clock in the morning my time and hadn't had any sleep, so I'm sorry I was like a zombie.
No, it's a great night. It was fun to get together with everyone.
It was awesome. Now that we've dispensed with the more enjoyable pleasantries, you've really called it accurately. So tell us what's going to unravel with this great world war that they're calling peace.
What we have to look at now is what's going on in Europe, particularly with Greece and Spain. The people are taking to the streets. They know the deal, that there's no change at the ballot box. If you go to the ballot box, there's a jack in the box, and they're just another political clown. So they're demanding real change they can believe in. So there's no outs in this. For example, you pick up the news and you see one day Greece is going to be bailed out. The next day they're not. Greece is only a small player with this. And what is the bailout? The bailout means you have a second mortgage. Now they're going to give you a third mortgage, and the IMF is coming in to oversee the deal. All the IMF is, it's the International Mafia Federation. They're the loan sharks of last resort. You need the money, you go to the loan shark. But, they're respectable. They have 3 names in their name, like Dominique Strauss-Kahn.
And they loan you the money that they got from you in the bailout. That's a beautiful system.
Oh, it is. And here's the deal. Where they tell you, go tax the people. I want the money. You tax the people, you don't bring in enough money. Then they come up with another line. They say we have to privatize. Privatize. I want your bridge. I want your water supply. I want your toll road. Capiche? That's all it is. It's a mafia. They're shaking down these countries. And by the way, people should understand, that's what happened in Egypt that set it up for what happened now. They sold the country out under, quote, privatization, which means taking valuable public resources and selling them to your criminal buddies for pennies on the dollar. So now it's imploding worldwide. As I said a year ago, follow the timeline. The crash of '29, the Great Depression, currency wars, trade wars, real wars. The panic of '08, the Great Recession / Depression, currency wars, trade wars, real wars. We heard public enemy #1 today, Osama bin Bernanke, say he's considering more stimulus.
Of course.
Great. Devalue the dollar more. Drive the people deeper into the ground. Make them pay more for everything because the banks need the money. They have to keep the Ponzi scheme going. That's what stimulus is. Keeping the Ponzi scheme going, but it's all collapsing. And as I said, when it all collapsed, they take you to war.
Did you see the quote? I reread it yesterday, a few months ago, with the Liberty dollar that had been operating for 13 years, coining their own silver and gold. Even AP admitted that's totally legal. There's hundreds of companies that do it. But because he criticized the Federal Reserve, they arrested him, had the federal jury, who convict people 98% of the time, that shows how fake they are, convict him, and then the U.S. attorney on the FBI website said, these people are terrorists. We're going to get anybody that's got gold and silver, anybody that tries to undermine our financial system. Here they are. The foreign banks have done this. The Goldman Sachs have done this. They're wrecking us, and then they're now blaming a company with gold and silver coins that never pretended to be government gold and silver, publicly criticizing it, saying have alternative currencies. We got a whole bunch of states moving to do the same thing. And they're saying, you're terrorists, we're coming after you. And now the Forex came out and said that the way they interpret the new laws, that by July 15th, private sale of gold and silver will be illegal. And the word is now the feds are talking about trying to confiscate. I mean, these people, and I guess America will line up and say, because that's what happened in 1933, okay, here's our gold and silver, give us devalued paper back, and we'll line up and the cops will have machine guns and we'll just give it to them, and then they'll publicly ship it to Goldman Sachs and Bank of America like they did in 1933. I mean, I can't believe the stuff they're doing, Gerald.
Well, again, it was all predicted, all foreseeable. It's the biggest bank robbery in world history, and the banks are doing the robbing. And the only way this is going to change is to bring down the banks. And by the way, IMF is actually a verb, like I am effed, or I am effed up by doing business with them. That's all it is. It's one big international mafia federation. They are robbing us in broad daylight, and the people are taking it. And that's what really discourages me the most, because they're still looking for a political solution. There's no such thing. It's an oxymoron. There's no political solutions.
Very well said, Gerald. But there are some good signs. I mean, Obama says these aren't wars. The mainstream media tries to play along with the emperor is wearing a beautiful outfit. And enough of us stood up like the little kid and said, hey, the emperor's naked. And now all over the media, they're going, yeah, Obama's a kook. Yeah, it is a war. He's super unpopular. Louis Farrakhan acted like he was the second coming. Now Farrakhan has called Obama a murderer. I mean, Obama's stock is going down really, really. I mean, as fast as horse and buggy whip stock went down when Henry Ford opened up his assembly line.
Yes, but it's only temporary. It changes on a dime. Look at the wimpocrats, those wiener liberals that aren't condemning Obama for what he's doing regarding the War Powers Act. Could you imagine if Bush tried to pull this off? They'd be screaming bloody murder. Look at the way the country rallied around Obama with the Osama versus Obama story. You know, you remember the one, you know, we got Osama, and now he's wearing cement shoes and swimming with the fishes. You saw how the people bought that.
That was almost as good. Obama could come out and say that July 25th, a large elf from the North Pole will come down your chimney, and I believe 35% of the public would actually be waiting at their chimneys for Santa Claus.
Exactly. So what's going to happen, Alex, as we predict this, as we're looking forward, watch for a false flag or a real crisis to happen. And the people will rally around Obama. This is as old as you know, the Hitler days, you know, Goering. What you do is you use fear and hysteria to rally the people around the political leader. They did it with Bush. People forget how unpopular he was before 9/11. And there's a guy that couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time. You know, he becomes a huge hero.
What do you think of Rick Perry? Because he's been lying and saying he'd never run. We knew internally from people that know him he is running. He's a protege of TB, also known as Karl Rove. And now he said, oh, I'm going to break my pledge not to run. I may run now. I mean, these guys lie even when there's no reason to lie. Turns out he was the campaign manager of Al Gore, and this is what people think is a conservative.
Yeah, and the whole thing is, if you're voting for the Republicans or Democrats, you're voting for the two-headed one-party system. You're voting for a continuation of corruption, lies, bigotry, hypocrisy, and helping out their big buddies. And by the way, we're coming out with a trend alert tomorrow, or the next day, hopefully tomorrow, and it's going to be the Celente solution. And essentially what it is that the only way that I can see a more positive future, because people ask me all the time. I come up with the problems. What are the solutions? Is a direct democracy. They don't represent us. Perry doesn't represent me. Gore didn't represent me. Bush doesn't. Clinton doesn't. Obama doesn't. Gore does. None of them represent us. They represent the people that give them the most amount of cash to stuff in their pockets. They call it campaign contributions. Adults call it bribes and payoffs. So on issues of war, on immigration, on health care, on education, do what they do in Switzerland. Let the people vote. And so what we're going to be doing is launching a major effort for the country to move toward a direct democracy. They don't represent me, and they don't know better than I do. I don't know everything. I only know what I know, but I don't need some jerk that's getting payoffs telling me, some little wiener telling me what I should believe, what I should do, and what's in my self-interest. I'm educated, and here's the example they're going to use. Mr. Celente, it's not going to work. Why not? We could vote online. Oh, you can't vote online. There'd be fraud. Oh, yeah, you mean like in Illinois? Like in Florida? No, there won't be fraud. We could do what they do if you take it like this. If I could bank online, I could vote online. If I could bank online, I could vote online. Put the power back into the hands of the people. Bring America to we the people.
You know, I hear what you're saying about the Swiss model of direct democracy, but at the same time, they've navigated and circumnavigated the Bill of Rights and Constitution. The founders were concerned about a direct democracy because they can stage a new false flag or an OBL rabbit out of the hat and then stampede people. In a direct democracy, 51% could vote to enslave 49% of us, but we could have a direct democracy through a constitution and a Republican form of government where there's the basic codes that then can't be overridden, and will we still have courts involved? Let me hear more of your solution and your model on the other side, because the globalists have found a way to circumnavigate our Constitution, Bill of Rights, and it's not that's failed. It's we the people that have let these crooks do this. As long as we're apathetic, any system can be bamboozled and finagled. But we'll be right back with Gerald Celente.